Hi, I'm Nicholas Matthews, and I will be talking about American non-interventionism. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, thousands of Americans lost their homes. Families were stranded without power, food, or clean water. The government was slow to action with relief, and supplies were scarce. Communities were left waiting. Meanwhile, halfway across the globe, the U.S. government had just approved $18 billion worth of aid to Ukraine. But what about back home? Hurricane relief was allocated just less than half of that with $7 billion. Even worse, a watchdog report later revealed that another $7 billion in FEMA disaster relief funds were never even used. They just sat there. Let that sink in. American citizens in desperate need were overlooked by their own government, while billions flowed overseas. Let me be clear. I'm not saying aid is inherently wrong. In fact, it has played a crucial role in global stability. From rebuilding Europe after World War II with the Marshall Plan to supporting its allies in the Cold War, U.S. aid has shaped the modern world. For much of early American history, we followed a non-interventionism approach with the Monroe Doctrine, which kept us out of European politics. Even our late entries into both World War I and World War II showed this approach. But after World War II, everything changed. America emerged as a global superpower, and our checkbook followed. The Marshall Plan alone sent about $13 billion worth of aid to rebuild Europe. That aid helped stabilize democracies and curb the spread of communism. Then came the Cold War. Aid was no longer just generous, it was strategic. It was a weapon to win influence and secure alliances. We supported countries not out of goodwill, but to try and cut off the Soviets' influences. Fast forward to the War on Terror. Foreign aid was used to fight extremism, especially in countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan. But here's the catch. Billions were sent and billions were misused. Weapons were stockpiled, funds embezzled, and threats never truly neutralized. And yet, aid kept flowing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The U.S. sends aid to countries where corruption is rampant. In Afghanistan, over $19 billion of aid was lost to waste and fraud. In Pakistan, the government used U.S. military aid to help in an arms race with India instead of fighting terrorists, which the aid was for. And now there's Ukraine. It is a country fighting for its survival, but it is a country known with a history of corruption. Weapons we may send over may be rerouted to hostile third parties, equipment may disappear without a trace, civilians may be harmed using our own resources. Because of these circumstances, aid has become less about helping and more about keeping up appearances. While all this is happening on the other side of the world, Americans are asking, what about us? It starts with higher taxes and rising national debt. Every dollar sent overseas doesn't appear out of thin air. It is either borrowed or taxed. It adds to the $34 trillion of national debt our children and grandchildren will inherit one day. It chips away at the economic stability that once made the American dream accessible to all. Meanwhile, inflation surges. The same government that can swiftly send billions overseas struggles to control basic costs at home. Gas prices rises, grocery bills climb. Families who work two jobs are still choosing between putting gas in their cars or food on their table. That's the invisible cost, economic hardship. There's also a human cost that's harder to measure. A lack of trust develops between a government and its citizens. When citizens watch their government prioritize foreign wars over domestic crisis, a silent anger grows. Communities feel abandoned. Veterans, teachers, factory workers, people who built this country begin to wonder if their sacrifices are even valued anymore. And then there's the opportunity cost. What could we have built here at home with those billions? Imagine schools, repaired highways, affordable healthcare, and safer neighborhoods. Imagine the jobs created by investing here and not abroad. It's time to rethink our priorities. I'm not saying shut the world out, but let's stop funding chaos while ignoring the crisis at home. We need more accountability and transparency in foreign aid. We need a domestic first mindset. Let's make sure every dollar that leaves this country is justified, only after we've taken care of our own people. Because if we can't protect and provide for our own, how can we claim to lead the world?